Hello! It's morning in the UK and our clocks went forward over the weekend, so I'm a little bit tired today because I got up when it was still dark. I was sitting here before pressing the start broadcast, and if you ever do Facebook Live or you're wondering what the process is like, you sit here and you've got the camera going and there's a button that says start broadcast and you've got to put titles and everything in. And every time I come to do a live, I wonder, why am I doing this? When will it get to the point where I'm actually feeling confident and comfortable and wanting to, feeling excited? It would be good to feel excited to do these lives. So I was sitting here and I just got this thought come into my head. Welcome all visitors. And that doesn't just mean you guys who are watching, but it means welcome all visitors. There's I think is it by Rumi? Oh, I'm having a bit of a mind block this morning, but there's a piece of poetry called The Guest House, and I'll put the right name on when I remember it. And it's all about welcoming visitors, and the visitors are your feelings, your difficulties, your challenges. So it's Monday, it's the beginning of the week, and you may have a lot to do. You may be just starting work, you may be anticipating certain things this week. You may be feeling stressed, you may be feeling tired. But welcome all visitors, welcome it all, whatever arises. I think I'm meant to do these lives in a way that is really human, really vulnerable, really real. I've said before in other videos, I don't think I could ever do polished and perfect. And I woke up this morning and I thought, what am I going to talk about today? And over the weekend I've been having a bit of emotional turmoil, and I discovered that I was going through a period where I was really busy and had lots to do, and I was getting quite overwhelmed by it, and I wasn't doing what I said. I wasn't taking one step at a time. I was trying to do everything. And I think that sometimes we get stressed and overwhelmed, but we're actually quite comfortable and we're quite enjoying that level of stress. It has a purpose. It gives us a sense of identity. And I talked to my housemate and I felt really low yesterday and a bit depressed. And it didn't matter what I did. I was doing my tasks, I had my ideas, what I was going to do for the day. I was doing a bit of gardening, and no matter what I did, the visitors that I needed to welcome were very heavy and very dense, and I didn't know what they were until my housemate pointed out to me that once I decide to let go of all of the overwhelm, when I decide to let go of trying to be master of the universe, when I started to stop and breathe and allow myself to just simply be, I realised I'd been doing what a lot of people do. I'd been filling my space, and it had become my identity. The busyness had become an identity. Even if it was stressful, it was something that was filling this space inside, because I realised there's a void inside of me right now. and you might experience it too. And I've had it quite a fair few times over my spiritual journey, and it's called the spiritual void. And this void is something that is part of the process of growing, expanding, becoming who we are really on the inside. And it happens when we're about to take a step forward in life and become a new version of who we are. We're removing our skins, we're like a snake, we're shedding our skins. But in the void, we don't know what we're going to become. It's like the butterfly. You know, the caterpillar doesn't know it's going to become the butterfly. In the void is the cocoon. You're inside this dark cocoon where you don't know who you are anymore. You can sense that the old you is leaving. Your old beliefs, your patterns. People in your life may be leaving too. You may be letting go of jobs or relationships or just patterns that were destructive or toxic. And you have an idea. It's kind of a framework. You see this. You have this feeling of there's something new coming, but you don't know what it is. So it's a bit like standing over a cliff, on a cliff edge. There's two cliff edges. There's a cavern in the middle, and you've got 1 foot on one side and 1 foot on the other, and you're hanging over this dark, deep, cavernous space. And you don't know what's there, and you don't know what's on the other side, but you can't go back because it doesn't work anymore. So that's what I'm feeling right now. I'm doing a lot of new things, and I can see kind of a little bit in the future, but it's a bit like there's a big deep fog around me. And when I started to get all really active, and I had lists of to-dos, and I was doing everything that I shouldn't be doing that aren't really good for us. I was multitasking and doing far too much. I identified with that. Busyness can sometimes mask the void. And sometimes we just simply need to be in that space of not knowing where we're going, not knowing who we are going to become, not knowing the outcome of anything we're doing. For example, you might be doing something right now. You may have a business, you may have ideas for creativity. You may have things you really want in your life, and you're putting things in place and you're starting to take action, and perhaps you're developing new skills and talents. And when you're in the void, it's very tempting just to give up and stop doing all of those new things because you can't see that anything is coming out of them. You can't see the end of the tunnel. You can't see what's going to happen. So that's where I am right now. And if you're in this same place, I want you to know that keep going. It may seem that you are going nowhere. You may not feel like you know who you are anymore, or what your place in this world is anymore. You may have this tendency or this urge to grab onto something that's known, or something that just keeps you really occupied. But become really aware and really begin to look at yourself and ask yourself, am I busy because I'm avoiding something? Am I distracting myself from releasing this old identity? Am I identifying with something that is not actually who I am just yet? Perhaps your real identity, your wings that are being formed in the dark. That identity will come in its own time, and you won't need to attach to it because it will just be natural and you'll flow into it. And when the heaviness comes up where you feel, what is the point? Why am I doing this? Nothing seems to be changing. Just keep doing it. And trust that you might not know what type of butterfly you're going to be or what type of flower. but you are going to grow into something new. And everything begins in the void. All new starts there. That's where creativity is born. If you think about when you were conceived and you were in your mother's womb, that womb is the void. It is dark. You're getting fed and nurtured by your mother, which is also the divine, God, whatever you want to call it, love. But you can't see what you're going to become. You're just being in that womb space, and you're growing and you're creating and you're becoming all that you need to be so you can come out into the world. And it's no different when you're an adult. It doesn't matter how old you are either. I feel like probably you might have something similar. It's been almost 40 years where I've been living a certain story, and we have to be really easy on ourselves, because if we've been living a story, an identity, for a very long time, we can't expect ourselves to suddenly overcome it overnight. It takes time. It takes divine patience. It takes practice. It takes just taking one foot in front of the other and walking forward. And you may not know what's coming. There may be a fog in front of you, but keep taking one step in front of the other and you will see which step to take next. And I'm saying this from my own experience, that this is what I've got to learn right now. That the corridor of life, I'm walking down it, but I don't know what's behind that door yet. I think sometimes we grow into who we need to be, and it takes hurdles, it takes challenges, it takes letting go of the old. And that new comes in when we least expect it. When we're just doing our normal day-to-day things, our routines. We're washing dishes, we're cleaning the house, we're doing some gardening, we're walking, we're working, we're breathing, we're having a bath. I read a card by the Indian mystic Osho this morning, and it was the word laziness. And it really made me understand that I know a lot of people who think they're lazy because they're not achieving, or things haven't worked out for them, or they're not busy all of the time, so they think they're lazy. But he said there's a difference between laziness and non-doing. Sometimes we need to consciously not do and allow that void to just be there. And like me, you may have tried to fill that void with activity and distraction. But there comes a point where we just need to say, hey, it's not my job to fill that void. That void is there for a purpose, and we're often born from that. The heaviness, the darkness, the anxiety, the sadness, the fear, the frustration. Sometimes it becomes larger and louder. The more that we are growing, the more that we are moving into the new, the more that we are becoming who we really are. It's almost like the last remnants of the old. They come up because there's so much light being shone on them that they need to come up and be welcomed as visitors. Because the more that you allow the void, the more that you are in the now, the more light comes in. And if you imagine walking into a darkened room, you don't know what's there. And that room is you. That room is your emotions. That room is your feelings. So as you become more aware of who you are, of letting go of identities and attachments and distractions. The light is switched on in that room. So don't feel that because a lot is coming up for you, or a lot of pain or fear or sadness is arising, the more that you're taking steps. But see it that you are growing and blossoming and expanding, because the light is being shone on those dark areas so that they can find their own resolution, and you are changing. So have patience and trust your journey and trust yourself. Today, just allow. Welcome those visitors. And thank you for watching. And if you're just joining on the replay, I'm Kelly Martin and I am the author of When Everyone Shines But You. And I'm also the co-producer of a new radio station called Shining Bright Radio, which is being launched on May the 1st. It's going to be a radio station to help people with mental health issues. It's going to be a radio station that's going to be positive. It's going to bring light back into sometimes a dark, media-fueled world. There's going to be a lot of really positive, uplifting music. And a lot of new thought leaders, a lot of teachers, a lot of raw talent coming forward. So if you're a writer or an author, or a teacher, or a coach, or you have your own podcast, contact me and you may be able to take a place on the new radio station and help a lot of people. Thanks for watching. I'm aware there's not many people watching on the live today, but thank you for that one person that's watching me. I really appreciate it. And I'll catch up with you all soon on Thursday at 10 AM London time. Thank you. Bye.